Former Conservative leader Sir Iain Duncan Smith has sharply criticized the government's energy policies, asserting that they depend on slave labor from China. The senior Tory MP accused Labour of endorsing supply chains that take advantage of forced labor, especially in the manufacturing of renewable energy components. In a conversation with GB News, Sir Iain mentioned that peers have proposed an amendment to the government's GB Energy Bill to ban the use of products made with slave labor. He described the amendment as concise yet impactful, stating, "It's about 3 lines, and it indicates that GB Energy cannot invest in or purchase any products made in China or anywhere else by slave labor. Essentially, it enforces a no-slave labor policy in supply chains." So Iain raised specific concerns regarding polysilicon derived from Xinjiang, used in solar arrays, contending that a genocide is occurring there. The men held in these slave labor camps are responsible for producing that, he informed GB News. He pointed out China's swift ascendance in the net zero market, attributing it to unfair practices. China has surged from obscurity to a dominant global position in net zero primarily by violating WTO rules and receiving industry subsidies from banks, he claimed. So Iain maintained that slave labor is prevalent in China's production of renewable energy components. A lot of the materials used in solar arrays and wind turbines are manufactured with slave labor, he stated, adding that governments are aware of these circumstances. He cautioned that Energy Secretary Ed Miliband is determined to reject that amendment ahead of an important vote. On Tuesday, Labour MPs will face pressure to endorse slave labor in our supply chains. "This is precisely what will transpire," he declared. He accused the government of hastily advancing a net zero agenda by exploiting the most persecuted groups. On Tuesday, Labour MPs will essentially be endorsing the inclusion of slave labor in UK supply chains, Sir Iain reiterated. Additionally, he criticised the government's broader stance on China, particularly concerning a new Chinese super embassy in London, expressing security concerns regarding its location right across the major communication lines of key London areas. The security services have made it clear that they disapprove of this, as it could enable interception and disruption, he cautioned. So Iain accused the government of kowtowing to China. "We assuage our consciences because China uses coal and other polluting fuels to produce the components for our net zero goals," he added. A spokesperson for the Department for Energy Security and Net Zero, DESNZ, stated, "No industry in the UK should depend on forced labour, and we have a clear strategy through Great British Energy to establish the supply chains necessary for a new phase of clean, domestically produced power that will generate jobs and investment. This also includes initiatives like the Clean Industry Bonus, which aims to promote clean energy manufacturing and enhance robust domestic supply chains in industrial regions. We are working collaboratively across government to address the issue of forced labor in solar supply chains, and the Rejuvenated Solar Task Force is focused on creating resilient, sustainable supply chains free from forced labor." GB News has sought comments from the Department for Energy Security and Net Zero.